Hello and good evening, and welcome to Faye's Angels. For I see one who has joined us so far. Um, I hope you say hello, whoever you are. You'll see me sharing the screen with Paul Francis, who is an internationally known and renowned psychic medium. Has been doing this for 35 years and has been a friend of ours for 6 years. We have followed Paul, Roger and I, in our other shows. So, oh, there you are, Lynn. Thank you, dear, for saying hello. And I'm really hoping other people join us too. There's Kathy. Oh my gosh, there you go. I know there have been people who already said they're coming, and we'll just have to wait a little bit before they come just to say hello and everything. But um, it is, I'm very proud to have you on our show tonight, Paul. And I have a couple of areas I'll be asking you about. I think it'll all come naturally as people start coming in. And
Okay, sure.
and we just got done watching you on your show. And it,
And although it was busy tonight, it was Spartan. There wasn't a huge amount of numbers on there, but it
well, it
was
might be
busy.
the
The
no.
show was busy.
It was, it is Thanksgiving week here too,
Yeah, I
in
only
the
found
U.S.
that Lynn said to me, I said, was it me or was the numbers not very high?
Yeah, it
And she said,
usually
it's Thanksgiving week. It's going to
it
be.
is.
I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah, so people are probably they could be traveling, they could be,
Hmm.
doing maybe Thanksgiving early. I know we have to do Thanksgiving on a couple of days because people are they can't all be at the same place at this, they're
Well,
everywhere.
no, actually, I didn't know that because I would have thought things through, and I would have probably say, I mean, I'll probably discuss this tomorrow, but um, maybe I'll forgo this Thursday because of Thanksgiving
Yeah, it's
and
Thanksgiving
give
Day.
yeah, give everybody a break and say, listen, guys, I'll see you all Monday night. Have a fantastic Thanksgiving. It's something I'm trying to promote in this country, oddly enough. I think it's something that we adopt so many Americanisms over here in Ireland and in the UK.
Right?
We adopt so many Americanisms and so many American ways, and we adopt, different franchises like your McDonald's and Burger King and so on. But the important ones we don't bloom and adopt, such as like Thanksgiving. Why
Mhm.
aren't we sitting down with our family over a beautiful meal and promoting what we're thankful for? But
Exactly. I love
so this
Thanksgiving.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think this Thursday night, as it's Thanksgiving in the United States, and my wife does. I mean, the 95% of the business that we do is based in America, and one of our business partners, is an American guy, Pete. You probably heard me talk about Pete because he's literally he's. I left Johanna talking to Pete upstairs, and Pete talked like this. Hey, Paul, how
Oh,
you doing? Hey, you doing, Paul? I said to him, I can't wait to hang out with you. Yeah, man. We come over here. We go in the forest. We go hiking. We go fishing together. And I'm not putting it on. He sounds exactly like that, and I just think you're perfect.
I
You're
know they
perfect for me.
I love that personality. It sounds really fun. It sounds like he's a crazy guy. That's
Oh,
good.
he's very motivated. He's very motivated guy. He's a highly successful businessman. He looks like a yeti. I mean, he looks like a yeti. He's about 6'5", long hair and the mustache and the beard. And hey, how you doing? Huh? I'm gonna have myself a rum and coke. And he was super successful guy. And we just have a ball, and we just he has balanced life so well with business,
That's
and that's the
awesome.
thing, and that's really good. I mean, I try to teach that a lot through my books, and I try to teach that a
Mhm.
lot through my, teachings on live with lovely, beautiful people like yourself. You're very well balanced person yourself.
Thank you.
And I always say, if you want to be successful, and people say to me, how do I get to where you are? And I just say, perseverance, hard
Mhm.
work, and
Mhm.
don't assume anything is going to happen for you.
Mm-mm.
And
No.
you've heard me say many times, if it's to be, it's up to me.
Hmm. That
So,
resonates me. I mean, look at, I've got your books here. Here, there's one.
oh,
And
you're a sweetheart.
look at
You're a
that. Look at
sweetie.
that. Look at that. I have earmarks. I mean, oh, and here's another, there's one, I, it is such a fantastic, I'm going to just promote it right now. It's such a
Oh,
fantastic, guide to build your skill set to get you connected
yeah.
with uh and protected, and there's not a it's not difficult to read. It's all very
Well, I
set
deliberately
yeah.
wrote the book in a non, what's the right word here? In a non, the way I wrote the book, and the one of the loveliest compliments I received
Hmm.
from one of the people who bought the book, they said to me, "Hey, when I'm reading the book, I hear your
I
voice."
do. That's what struck
So,
me as well. Uh-huh.
so I wrote it not as it should be written like a textbook. I wrote it like I'm talking to you,
Yeah. Yeah.
and it seems to have come across that well.
Yeah, it's
It took a,
awesome.
it took over a year to write that book.
Really.
Mm,
Well, it's a lot of great stuff. I mean, we go through chakras, which I am just starting to understand, not understand, uh, be presented with.
mm,
I mean, I have to tell you, I had such a fantastic experience, and maybe I want to share that with you.
please.
Uh, um, so, hi Herbie, and hi everybody, Dawn, Julie, Loretta. Wow, thank
Hi
you.
guys.
Please share the show because people might be having a hard time getting to Faye's Angels YouTube because it's a new channel. It's not on Roger's channel. I've created my own channel, and
Excellent. Good idea.
yeah, and I hope that if you guys can know how to do the link thing and send it to your friends and family on Facebook,
Yeah.
then they can shoot over to here, and we can kind of spread the word, because I do have kind of a pretty good lineup of people coming up. I thought, and my purpose of this show, just before we get into Paul and what my experience was, is just to have some folks on the show for you to consider.
Mm,
I'm saying that, it's, you should believe, I mean, I am a supporter of Paul, obviously, but I also am, I want to just I want to give people information and inspiration and let them
yeah.
take it on themselves. Everybody has their own journey. Everybody has their own tools, skill set. Um, I am also in my own working on my own development, and I can't wait to do one of your seminars.
I'm glad you brought that up because
Mhm,
I've had such a busy 5 days in a row. My
mhm.
brain's thinking, I must say this tonight. I must say this tonight. And then when you get through the show, you go, didn't blimmin' say that. But
Forgot.
so the seminars is something I do want to quickly talk about later,
Okay.
if that's okay.
Okay. I'll earmark seminars. And so I just want to give you, like I said, it seems like after I developed this show, I started seeing, symbolic things, angels
Yeah.
everywhere. I sent you that message. I'm seeing angels everywhere. And that's because, remember how I sort of balked at the idea of a phase angels? I said, oh,
Yeah.
that's just a stretch, for me. Not that I don't believe in them. It's just, how can I even honor that name, is how I was thinking. And
Yeah.
then I thought, well, it's not me. It's everybody who's watching, who's on our chat room, who will be my guests. That's why I have you in the middle of wings saying, "Hey, this is my guest, Paul Francis. Can't wait to have him on." You know, you're one of my angels. These all of these folks that have inspired me and continue to inspire me. Brand new people sometimes that I
Yeah.
just said, "Wow, that's kind of interesting," and they say,
Yeah.
"Sure, I'll be on your show." It blows me away. But back to me developing, phase angels, then I saw like signs. Okay. So about a minute away from our own office here, there, came a store came to be, and it's
Yeah.
a healing center, and it's a beautiful, metaphysical healing center with you know our our amethyst, our
The crystals. Yeah.
the crystals and everything like
Yeah.
that. And when you go into the store, you see on the wall this huge plaque of angel wings, and
Oh
I'm
wow.
saying, I am, and the one of the owners' names is Angela. Okay? And sh
Angel. Yeah.
yeah, and she is an angel. She's gonna be one of my guests, a little later. I can't remember if it's December or January, but she's gonna be on, and so she's showing me around. I introduce myself. I tell her, what we do, and she goes, "Oh yeah, it's blah blah blah." And she shows me around, and one of the rooms is a room set up with a cot or like a massage bed and beautiful things all around it. Beautiful smells, the chimes, everything. I said, "So is this Reiki?" She go, "No, this is for I do angelic uh I do angelic
Okay.
clearing." I said, "I think I'm supposed to do that." So I
Okay.
did so I did that. I'm telling you, Paul. I love your uh guided meditations are fantastic too. And I also recommend everyone to click onto Paul's meditations, guided meditations. If you haven't done it yet, you are missing out on the opportunity to find out a lot of stuff about yourself, actually. And that's what started me on this. But then I was on that cot that one night with Angela,
Yeah.
and I won't go into detail about everything that happened to me, but she is also a very sensitive. I don't know if she isn't a practicing psychic medium, but she is a person who sees
Yeah.
she sees the spirit
Well, you
guide.
see, that's
So
actually the original title. The original title was you were referred to as a sensitive, and
okay,
it's only the name medium came in much 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 later in the terms of life. We didn't become mediums till oh crikey, I think it was 1920s, something like that. But pre that, you would be the sensitive of the tribe, the sensitive of the village, whatever the case may be.
yeah,
Sensitive is actually the true terminology, and you're describing this person who is the way that this Angela's energy is coming through you over to me is she's doing it right. She's
she
doing it
is.
without ego. She's doing it without
Oh,
branding. She's doing it just through concept, through energy, and through source. And that's the kind of person. And here's you've just said something you don't know how much you just said something that has made me absolutely, totally, and utterly happy. You said that you've gone on and my I'm assuming that you're referring to the series Moments.
moments.
Uh, yeah,
Yes.
and that has spurred you onto a path that has got you in front of somebody else. That has made me so happy because
Yeah.
that's I've assisted in some tiny little way your journey. That's made me so proud.
Oh,
I'm so
thank you.
proud.
Well, you are part of my journey. You are a mentor and a teacher and so many things, and but yet, an encourager as well.
Hmm.
And so what has happened is
Motivator.
you are, yeah, and you're not easy. You know, you're not easy. It's never been real. That's the other thing. When you go on this journey, some of the things that you are doing are not comfortable. Like
Hmm.
this program was not comfortable for me at first, but now I'm
But the
loving
thing
the
about it
idea.
is, I could see. I mean, I've been involved in the music business, and I've been involved in the TV business and movie business, and I know a natural presenter when I see one, and you were quite clearly a natural presenter.
Wow.
And when
Well,
we started doing the shows on Facebook, 5 years ago, and then I said to you guys, I said to Roger and yourself, I said, listen, this thing's coming up, and it was the other station that we looked up
mhm.
with Michelle. I said,
Yep.
let's give it a go. We have nothing to lose here. You know,
Right. Right.
okay, it didn't work out exactly how he wanted because it was a
No,
bit too restrictive, but we
right.
don't wish them any negativity because you never burn your bridges.
No, they're my
And
friends
and
still. I mean,
yeah, I
I
said
had
to
Michelle.
yeah,
Yeah,
Michelle
Michelle was
still
on my
I was yeah, I missed that show in fact, but I do want to see it. Um,
fantastic.
I refer to Michelle as a good friend, and
Yeah.
Amelia, and Amelia has been a friend of mine for God, 10, 15 years now. But it's there is no one source to learn from. Even my own students, I've always said, go and watch other mediums. They may not be good mediums in how they work, but you might pick that one thing up at that one moment, which will help your tapestry, how you're going to be your medium.
Yeah.
But when I looked at you and you were starting to, what used to make me laugh the most was you kind of didn't realize that you were holding everything together. You were the glue holding it together because Roger is like me. I don't know if Roger's dyslexic. I'm actually dyslexic, so
I don't know.
when I see words that come across really quickly, I really have to focus
Hmm.
because my mind sees the word differently than that's actually
Well,
written.
he always wanted just to hear it because
Yeah,
when he
yeah.
would
Most
hear it, it was a
musicians
lot.
are audible. Yeah, most
More
musicians.
had more strength to it. So I would say,
Yeah,
like, say for example, Kathy. Hi, Kathy. I would say Kathy Hanley is on, and
yeah,
and then so that was helpful for him to go. He didn't have to
yeah.
read it.
And
So
that's a musician from top to toe. We work much quicker audibly. We pick it up really fast. In fact, when we're learning a tune, for an example, on be it on piano, keyboard, synthesizers, guitars, whatever, we hear it first before it ever gets to our fingertips. So
I
we're
know.
hearing it in our head.
I know. It's
Um,
crazy how I see it when Roger's doing a riff or something, and he
yeah,
is just, I mean, and the other guys on the band, I go, okay, let him go, just let him go. And he's like in another world, right?
yeah,
And I
yeah,
just
yeah.
go, how do you do that? How do you do that? But he just says, well,
Mm.
it's just like I heard it, I had to do it. And I said, well,
But
it
this is
really
it. And
was.
there are times that I think that. It's just you just literally described it perfectly. I do think spirit works through us when that happens. When what Roger is off, very
Mhm.
often our mind is catching up with our fingers, not our fingers catching up with our mind. You
Oh,
know, and
yeah,
if I sit down to write, I don't know how many albums I'm on now, but I have another album just about to be released. But when I sit down to write, very often I'll just rest my hands on the piano. I'll just
sure.
literally put my hands on them, and then just my fingers will start working, and then I'll start to hear something, and then I'll just progress that out. So
Yep.
Roger's the same. So when he's like doing a riff, very often he won't even look at what his left hand is doing.
He
He'll
doesn't
look
see it.
down or he'll look
Yep.
up, and
Yep.
his essence is controlling this, not
It's exactly.
his mind and his fingers.
Yeah, it's
Um,
like they all they're connected, and I suppose that
yeah,
would be with you. They're just connected. It's
yeah.
just a connection and an extension of himself, and I think that is so beautiful. And
It is, and it's a big thing that I don't know very many professional musicians other than Roger. To be absolutely, I'm just thinking about that quickly. I don't think I know very many professional musicians who are mediums. So
mhm,
I think Roger, apart from myself, is I would say Roger
kind of
is
unique,
a
huh?
um, he's more of a musician than I am. I'm
I
more
don't
of
know.
a
You just
producer than
well, maybe, but I think you probably have your own strengths as a musician too, you know? I mean,
well, yeah, I can hear a song finished
mhm,
before I start it,
mhm,
and
mhm.
it's just I don't know if that's much of a gift or just an ability. I don't know, but at the same point in time, when I was watching this happening, and you would be like literally reining him in.
Oh,
And then when I came on and I would start to go off on one, you'd rein us both in, and I would just look at you. I would look at you from the perspective of like, oh my God, she's putting me in my place. Rightly so, I might add. Um, but I would just look at you and I go, she is a natural producer and she is a natural presenter, and you
thank
have
you.
an ability because you have an honesty about you, and people
Well,
reflect from that honesty.
that's who I want on our shows, in my show. I want people who really truly are not trying to uh throw oh, what's the expression? They got to be full of integrity. They've got to
Oh,
be
of course, yeah, has to be.
I don't have time for people who are just not full of integrity and really are honest about it and transparent.
Mm,
Transparency to me is important, and I think I'm not I'm okay with being, a little bit vulnerable about talking
mm,
about things such as daughter Tanya's MS. And
yeah.
she was the guest on my show. And what she was going through impacted me. I mean, was a glimpse at her history and mine as well in a very bad
Mm,
marriage, my marriage, my choice. And what we learned from that I mean, when I talked to Tanya afterwards, it wasn't an easy episode for me because I had to get rid of all guilt about that. I made
mm.
that choice of marrying that guy, and he was he was a little bit crazy. I look back on it, and he's not crazy, crazy, but just it was
Here's the
like the
thing. Here's the thing, right? And let me just jump in at that particular point because I can feel your mind going off into a slightly negative tangent.
oh, okay,
Um, because you're associating what went wrong in the relationship,
yeah,
rather than what went right.
yeah,
I mean, the thing about it is, okay, the guy was, shall we say, and it's funny that if you refer back to my show earlier tonight when someone said to me, "Hey, Paul, what happens to people who've done wrong in this world?
mhm,
And when they
mhm,
cross over, what happens?" And
mhm,
I spoke about karma, and I spoke about all karma has to be met, and
right?
so on and so forth. I'm going to throw something in at you that may well blow your mind. Okay, and you could well have been put in this guy's path to stop him being worse than he could have been.
Yeah, I think that's very true
You
because
know what I mean?
the problem was he's an alcoholic,
Mm,
and I think that as soon as I said go away and meant it, I believe it opened doors for him because I was in the way of him becoming sober and having maybe a better relationship with somebody else or a different life. I mean, because
hmm.
with us, it was just completely toxic. And so, yeah, thank you for that, Paul. That's good. I mean, I think, of course, we choose our lives. I also want to tell you another thing that Tanya and I both, and you and Roger can relate as psych and of your own experiences, I know. And
Hmm.
there's Roger on the phone too, not on the phone, here. He's here too, listening.
Is he?
We went to Yeah, he is. He's here. I'll put him up. He says,
I'm su- I'm su-
"Hola."
I'm su- I'm surprised he hasn't butted in because he's usually butting in about this point.
Well, this is the only button I've given him directions about that. He can't butt in. But he keeps on saying it is my show, so he's not gonna butt in.
Rightly
Um,
so. Rightly
we,
so.
uh, we went to Tanya and I went to, the show, the movie here in the United States that's showing After Death. And what it is a documentary. It's set up like a documentary, and After Death, it's
Right.
all about near-death experiences. Tanya and
Hmm.
I really appreciated watching it because I saw some critics saying that, whatever. But to me, it was a cardiologist who had interviewed his heart patients from 1987 on, because the concept came to him that people were having near-death experiences, and he said that was hogwash as a cardiologist at first.
Hmm.
So, but there's so much interest in it by a nurse of his that he was willing to, okay, I'm going to ask my patients.
Yeah, yeah.
He was shocked to find out about he recorded them. They didn't all wanna talk about it except to him. Some of them hadn't talked about it at all to anyone because they didn't wanna be told that they were crazy because of
Yeah.
their experience, but he put it in a safe zone for them, and he learned that many of their near-death experiences were so much alike, but yet had, variances depending on their belief system, actually, tell you the
Mm.
truth, and as far as one guy's take on it was. So it's a must-see, and what I gleaned from it, and I maybe already knew this, but one guy explained it as to explain to explain the other side, other than life here. Uh, we are living in a black and white photo while we are here on Earth, here in this existence, our existence right here. But the
Hmm.
other real existence is a video that is color and has action while we're sitting in a photo, a black and white photo. Try to explain a person to somebody the experience that is in color when they're living in black and white
In
in
black
a
and white. Yeah, that's a
in a
really good
photo.
analogy,
I
actually.
thought that really helped me because, I mean, and
Yeah,
also the current theme to everybody who had that was the extreme love that they experienced. The love
yeah.
that you can't even explain, the love, the feeling of love. And I thought those are the 2 things I took from it. I really encourage everybody who can go see it. Please go see
It's.
it.
I
It
mean,
is
it's. You sounds to me like something. It's definitely down my alley. I really want to see some. I love, even to this day, even after 35 years of being a professional
mm,
medium,
mhm,
I'm still researching. I'm still looking. I'm still trying to find out more. I don't ever believe we will be allowed to know all the information this side.
right. That was the other thing that was
I'm
brought up. We don't deserve to know everything. There is a limit to what as far
Yeah,
as
I think I don't know if the word deserve is the right word, and this I'm not actually. Do you know what? I think argument is a great way because a great argument is a great way of releasing information. Okay,
uh-huh.
because
I'm okay with that.
what I might say contradictory will bring out another thought within another
Absolutely.
person. So
Mhm.
we're spurring, and you or somebody else might say something, and I might go, I've never thought of that. So I think argument is a great way of doing it.
Sure.
I don't think it's the concept that we don't deserve it. I think it is if we okay. It's like me saying to you, okay, Faye, listen, um, you are absolutely one of my favorite people on the planet. There's no doubt about it. Now, here's what I'm going to offer you. Okay, I'm going to offer you total tranquility. Okay, total peace. No more pain in your life ever. Okay, you will never know any kind of sickness in any kind of way. Okay,
Mhm.
you don't have to work in the concept that we have to get money to be able to survive.
Mhm.
That's not how it works. Your work will be nothing but joy. What's your mind saying right now?
Saying, "Yeah, I'll sign up,"
Uh,
right?
let's have some of that, right? I
Yeah.
think so. So if you are getting all that information like that, then what are we doing here?
It's true. True. That's
So
true.
the
Yeah.
reason I don't think we're allowed to see and know and understand its
Mm.
completely the complexity of its completion is because we'll just give up on this one, and then we
Yeah.
just go, I'm in
True.
a hurry to get up there.
Right, we don't
So,
want that to
but
happen.
but this is college. The way
Yeah.
your black and white picture and the color movie is so linked to my experiences. It's untrue. It's scary untrue, but the way my sort of interpretation is we're at college. We're
Sure.
learning. We're in college, and then we take
Exactly.
all the experiences, And those experiences have to be on both levels. They have to be in absolute phenomenon. And I mean, when I say absolute phenomenon, things like your children are born. You know, there's I can never remember all of the stuff that I've achieved right up until my kids were born. Just disappeared, and when your kids are born, it's like, oh my god, oh my god. Um, but all of your achievements, but you have to have something to balance those achievements against. How do you know if they're achievements if you haven't had failures?
True. I have to
So
I have to answer a question here. Kathy wants
sure,
to know what the name of that movie is. It is called After Death. It's
after death.
in theaters right now, and I don't know what people are disappointed about it, except that it's set up like a documentary series of real cases. Kind of, Tanya and I walked away from the movie thinking, "Thank you." That was really great to see that because,
And it doesn't
uh,
matter what other people think, as long as
no, I
you
don't care.
come away.
No,
Yeah, I
yeah,
mean, like, if it's
oops,
thought provoking, it provokes you into looking for more, and that's what it should be, and that's what the safe way is supposed to do. My book, The
yeah,
Safe Way, isn't to be all and end all. It's to provoke you into learning more.
yeah,
And the reason that I wrote the little book of quick wisdom is to stop you in your tracks. The reason I wrote it is to go bang, stop.
mhm,
Now let me put a thought in your mind. Now, when you've got a different, clear cleansing of your mind, it's like dropping lemon juice on your tongue. It stops you for a second, and then you go, actually, I can taste the rest of those flavors now. So the reason I wrote the little book of quick wisdom. Oh, oh, there's a beautiful story about that picture. Did I tell you the story about that picture?
yeah, you can tell it again. I love that story, and
Oh,
you've
it's a
got to
cool
make sure
story.
if you guys, go to his website, Paul's website, to pick these beautiful books up. Um, but make sure when you get, I mean, if you go to Amazon or any place else, I think that's where I went. Make sure that picture of Paul's in the back
Yeah.
because there's another Paul Francis out there in
There's
Amazon.
another Paul Francis out there using my name and my
Hmm.
but my uh, my management at the time said, the safest way is to put your picture on it,
Hmm.
so, and I said, right, okay, because somebody rang me up, somebody from some production company rang me up and said, oh, I understand you wrote such and such a book, and I went, no, I didn't. They went, oh
Hmm.
yeah, you did. It's your name's on it. And I said, no. I can remember all the books I've written, and I didn't write that one. They went, oh. And I was like,
So,
okay.
so tell us about this picture,
Right.
folks.
If folks can see that picture, if you bring the book back towards you a bit, Faye, for a second, right, and a bit further, keep going, all the way back. That's it. Cool. Um, if you can see that there's a big wall there and there's a big doorway. Now, if you can bring about where your index finger is on your right hand, bring it right up to the camera. So push it all the way up, all the way in, and you'll see there's a figure in the
Hmm.
doorway. Okay, okay, you can drop the book down now. So I was going through. I don't know if it's the right words is a time of crisis or conscience or whatever. I was going through a point of my mediumship, which was really running at a high. It was really, really quite high. I was on big, big shows around the world and on different TV shows and radio shows and blah, blah, blah. And then something was just, I remember watching John Edward talking about how he challenged his medium, or his guides, sorry. And he had said to his guide, look, it's not that I don't believe you, but you know what? I want to see some physical evidence. And there's a story about he goes out into his garage and there's a box and there was a picture in it of something, and then the day afterwards it metamorphosed into Native American Indian. And I mean, I might be getting this story wrong, but it's something along those lines. And I remember thinking, and I remember just sitting back and I went, Sean, you know I love you. You know I love you. And then you know I love you with all my heart. But could you do something like that for me? It's not that I'm challenging you. It's not that I don't believe you. We've done all this work and we've been on this journey so far. But just for me, please do something like that. And so I didn't. then go, well, come on, hurry up. I just went, okay. And about 3 days, 4 days later, something along those lines, I went out walking with the family, and the very first time I'd ever met Sean, the very first time I physically saw her, and the very first time I'm talking to her like I'm talking to you today, like this, was I was taken by my teacher into this meditation, and I was brought through this place, and I opened this big, big door like you're looking at, and this person said, "I'm Sean," and I went, "You're Sean?" And she went, "Yeah, I'm Sean. Let's go and talk." And we sat down and we chatted. And I was walking along, and we went to this. In the UK, we have these places called car boot style places where people bring all of their bits and pieces, and they sell them. Anyway, so I was walking along, and I just looked over at this picture on the floor, and I went, "Oh my God, that's exactly how I met Sean." And if you get that book, you'll see that the person is long blonde hair and a long white flowing dress. And that's exactly how Sean showed herself to me. And
Wow.
I said but I walked up to the guy where the picture was, and I said to the guy, I said, "Hey, excuse me, your picture, how much is it?" And he said, "What picture?" I said, "The picture down here, leaning against everything." And he went, "I don't know what you're talking about." So I reached down and I picked up this picture, and I went, "That." He said, "I've never seen that before." And I went, "Well, do you want to sell it?" He goes, "Yeah." So we agreed a price, and I took it. But he didn't know that picture. He'd never seen that picture before. And there it was in the middle of this big marketplace. And it arrived just, and I am not lying to anybody. I have my family with me at the time. They'll all testify exactly what happened. The guy had no idea of that picture. He didn't know what it was. I went, "Well, it's there. It's in your thing. Do you want to sell it?" And he said, "Yeah, go on then. I'll take XYZ pounds for it." So I gave it to him. And that is literally a a portrait of how I met Sean.
That's so wonderful. That's so cool. Wow, how inspiring.
And
How
that's
inspiring.
exactly like talking about the black and white. When I was very very ill with cancer,
Mhm.
I I got to the point because I was so ill that the doctors weren't talking to me anymore, and
Mhm.
I was lying in my bed, and then there was a feeling of like a pop, like just I can't remember whether I actually heard it or I just felt it, but it was like a feel. And then I was looking down and I could see myself, and I was like, I remember thinking, okay, this isn't good. I remember thinking, and but I said in my head, like I just said, I went, no, oh, this isn't good, like that in a joking kind of a way. And
Right.
I went from seeing myself below myself like that,
Mhm.
lying, lying on a bed, to all of a sudden going into this dark room, and the room
Mhm.
was really, really dark.
Mhm.
It was dark to the point of if you're in a real sort of thick forest and you've only got a little candle burning. It was that kind of a dark. But the
Mhm.
unique thing about it was it was like being inside chocolate mousse. That's the only way I could possibly describe it. It's like being inside mousse, chocolate mousse. Even the smells were sweet. There was a feeling of euphoria. There was a feeling of, do you know what? It's going to be okay. There wasn't any fear. And then I started sort of seeing beings all around me, but I
Mhm.
couldn't see them like I'm looking at you. I just my
Good.
my my energy, my essence was feeling these beings. You
Mhm.
follow me?
Yep.
And then they started touching me like that, just literally
Wow.
fingertips, touching
Oh,
me head
wow.
to toe like that. They were just all over like this, just touching me, just like
Mhm.
really gently.
Mhm.
And when they finished touching me head to toe, I heard, "It's okay." And there was like, I'm trying to get the voice. It was like, "It's okay. You can go back now." Like that. And I was like, I started arguing with them because I'm Irish. And I went, no, I'm
I
not
don't
going
want to
back.
go back.
Exactly. I went, and I know you can't make me go back because of all of the stories I'd read in the past, you know.
Right?
And I said, I don't know, I'm not going back, and I know you can't make me go back. And they went, and then this voice came in close to me, right, like here, in a beautiful, genteel way. Went, Paul, you have a lot of work to do. Now it's time to go home. And she just went
Yeah.
whoop, like that there, and I went poof, straight
That
down.
was that was quite a lot of like some of the I go back to the movie. And, some of those folks said it was kind of like that, "No, you gotta go back, you're not done,
Mm,
you've got work to do." Roger got the same kind of message, "No, we don't he's not here." It was a doctor that showed up in his near-death experience and, "No, send
yeah,
him back, he's not ready yet," and Roger came back with, hearing things and seeing things and completely
yeah.
changed. So did that change you? Did that
Oh,
change you? Like,
scarily,
that's what
on two different levels.
mhm,
On a spiritual level,
mhm,
it reinforced my
yeah,
my my. I got aggressive about going after things now. I
mhm,
went right. And not only am I going to do the job, I'm going to do it really well.
mhm,
And I'm not going to listen to any idiots anymore. And it was
mhm,
not too long after that I started teaching people to get rid of the yeah buts and all that kind of stuff.
mhm.
Um, but the other side
Yeah,
of it, which was
can I
the
interject a question just tiny bit?
sure, sure, please.
Were you a practicing psychic medium at that
Oh
time?
yeah,
Okay,
this is only 14, 15 years ago this
okay.
happened.
So those mid
Um,
mid-term.
and I then became really and I mean, I suppose maybe the word aggressive is not giving off the right vibration. I became more focused, really focused about going
Mhm,
after. But I'm a very conscientious kind of a person. I don't stand on people to try and get my own way. I'm very much right. Listen, guys, I understand you want to do that your way. That's brilliant, fantastic, and I wish you all the very best. But I kind of feel I need to go this way, and I go off. I
mhm,
go.
mhm.
And I remember Derek Acora saying to me, he said, you know what I like about you the most, Paul? And I said, what's that? And he said, you've made it to the top without ever having to step in anybody's coattails. I said, thank you very much. That's really important to me. But the counterpart of that experience, what I call the dark experience, and I don't mean dark as in negative, it just means it was dark because I couldn't see any light.
Right.
The counterpart that scared me,
Mhm.
and this is the bit that really scared me, was I didn't care anymore when I was up there. I didn't care. I really didn't care. And it was when I was thinking about it when I'd come back into. I mean, I'll tell everybody before I go into the next part of this story, is as I was coming down, I once again I could see the top of my head and my body lying there, but I kind of looked out over the ward where I was in the hospital wing that I was in, and there were 6 beds in the ward, and I could see the different patients in their beds, and I could see people on both sides of each of their beds.
Yeah,
Like it looked to me. I remember thinking to myself, "Oh, it must be visiting time,"
yeah.
because there was people all around. And I looked out
Yeah.
into the hallway, and there was a gentleman walking along with one of those trolley things that has drips on it, the drip bags,
Oh,
and he
yes,
was pushing it
okay.
along
Gotcha,
like
I
a little
got
trolley thing.
mhm,
And he had 2 people on each side of him, but they had their hands on his shoulders. They had their hands literally on his shoulders like this. So as the guy one side had the
mhm.
hands, and the guy on the other side he had his hands on, and they were walking along. And I thought that's strange. But as I opened my physical eyes, as I went, I remember going like that and opening my eyes. All of the people gone. They were all gone. And even the man, I could just see the tail end of the guy walking along, and the 2 guys with their hands on his shoulders, gone. There was just myself and the people that were in the ward and the nurses and doctors, you know, doing what they do. They'd all gone, and then my memory kind of came back, and I remember thinking, "Oh my God, I've just seen spirit. I've just seen them all."
So awesome.
And it was like really scary. But about 3 days after that, I walked out of that hospital.
Oh.
And I remember walking out the door because my friends and some of my friends come to get me. And I walked out the door and they went, "We're really sorry." I remember her saying to me, Jane, her name was Jane, she said, "Paul, I'm really sorry. It's raining." I said, "I have never felt anything better." And the
Mm.
rain was coming on my face. And she goes, "What do you mean?" I said, "This is perfection, you know?"
Mhm.
Um, if you don't, am I okay to, to share another story? Because it's
Absolutely.
really,
I wanted
really,
to
really, you know,
I just want to I
um,
want to encourage people to please share the show. This is fascinating. We're not doing any reads tonight. Paul is my guest as on Phase Angels, and what my guests do if they are psychic mediums, I want to get their backstory. I want to share with you guys. You see these wonderful. You see Paul all the time, but really, let's hear a backstory. Let's hear where he came from. Let's hear more, Paul. So go ahead.
well, I was, it was training. I was in training, and I was doing more advanced training as a medium, and we were going into a very, very important meditation. And so off I went into the meditation, and down I went, and I went on. And I remember walking through, and I thought to myself, I know this place. And I was walking along, and I realized that the place where I had been taken to in this meditation was a place that I had been in my previous training, where we were doing. There's a training where spirit will enter my body and speak through my voice. Okay,
Okay.
and that's called physical mediumship.
Okay.
And Mike, Sean said to me, Paul, we're going to do this. Okay, you're going to do this
Mm-hmm.
because you're going to learn how it feels and how you understand it. But this is not how you're going to work. And I
Mm,
was like, yeah, all right, whatever. I don't care. Just show me everything that I need to know.
yeah.
And my the students that were in the class that time, they'll tell you that a voice was speaking through my body, and there was a smell of roses emanating from my body. The smell of roses was just
Oh,
literally coming off of me. But I was in this beautiful place, and it was, oh my gosh! If you can imagine the most picturesque places, like in Scotland, where there's rolling fields of flowers, and I was walking along doing the little house on the prairie bit with my fingers on the
mhm,
roses and the
mhm,
flowers. So
mhm.
this was all emanating from me. But
You
in
sure?
the advanced mediumship that I was doing, I was back there. I was back in this place, and I was walking out of these fields up toward this beautiful building, and the building that I can only describe to you guys, if you want to get a visual in your mind, is like Hogwarts.
Oh, sure.
It was very much like
Okay.
Hogwarts.
Mhm.
So I walked up to this kind of gothicy shaped door, and it opened, and it was my mom, and I went, "All right, mom," and
Who had passed?
she my
She
mom
was
was passed. Yeah,
yeah.
she was. My dad was still here at the time, but my mom had passed. She passed with cancer, and uh, and she said, "Come in," and she said it in a way like I was late. She wasn't. She didn't go, "Oh, my son, it's so good to see you. Come on in." It
Typical
was,
mom.
"Come in, like
Typical
get
mom.
your ass in the door."
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I mean, she would have said things like that. Excuse my language to all of your beautiful viewers and listeners. She would say, "Get your ass in the door," and I went, "Okay, all right." And I walked in the door, and she said to me, "Come with me," and we walked up this corridor, and this corridor was really, really wide. Um, and there was a wall on the left hand side, and on the right hand side there were like pillars, sort of periodic pillars like that.
Yep.
And you could see out there was no glass; it was just
Open.
out to whatever, yeah, open. So, and I'm really trying to engage her in conversation, and she's ignoring me, and I'm like,
Mom.
let me get this right, Mom. I've linked up with you clearly, and you're not talking to me. You're not talking. What the hell? And I'm walking up this corridor, and all of a sudden there's like a recess on the left, and it goes in. It's quite a big recess. I mean, it's huge, really. And there's all these kids playing, and they are having a ball. I mean, they're just literally enjoying everything. They're full of laughter, they're full of love, they're full of life, and they're having a ball. And there's two or three adults with him, and I glimpsed at the two or three of the adults, and I thought, do I know you? Do I know you? And mom was like ushering me, like, come on. you
Get
know.
in. Go.
So we walked a little bit further, and then there was a big step, and there was a gentleman standing there, a man standing there, but he was wearing kind of robes. That's the best way to describe it. You know, like the robes you would see a priest wear on a Sunday.
Yeah.
Those kind of things, you know. And my
Sure.
mom walked me up to him, and she said to him, "This is the one. This is the one I told you about." And she pointed at me, and I'm like, "Am I in trouble?" You know. And she went, "This is him." And she turned to me and she says, "Go with him." And I was like,
Mom.
"Okay." And the gentleman looked at me and smiled, and he says, "It's okay. Come with me." And I was like, "All right." So I stepped up, and he walked me round the corner to the right, and these beautiful big, like almost like cathedral kind of doors just opened like that, and we walked in, and I was kind of walking into like smoky light. Anyway, something happened, I don't know what,
Yeah.
and then we were coming back out together, and he said to me, "So," he said, "it's okay." So and then he said, "You'll be allowed to remember when you need to remember."
Oh.
And then he put his hand on my shoulder, and he said, "You'll be allowed to remember when you need to remember." And I felt like he was talking to me like a son. That's the way it felt. And he said to me then, "Oh, by the way, the world's going to be fine," like that. And I was like,
Yeah.
"Oh, that's good news."
That's good.
And and I s- and he kind of like stood, and I kept walking, but I felt like that was supposed to happen. And I walked around the corner, and there's my mom again. But this time, it's like she changed, Jacqueline Hyde.
Okay.
She was so, and she would go, my boy," and she put her arm in through my arm, and she
Yeah.
pulled me in tight like this, and I went, "Oh, there's my mom," you know.
Yeah.
And she goes, "Right," she goes, well, like that. And I went, he said that I'm going to remember when I need to remember. And she went, "Good, good, 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 good." She goes, "So are you happy?" And I said, "Yes, I'm happy." She goes, "I'm very proud."
Oh,
I
wow.
went,
That is
"Oh, wow."
so she's
I'm
acting
getting
like a gu
emotional now.
I know. I
I'm
mean,
getting
she was
really
acting like a
emotional.
guide before, and then she came back as mom to reassure you. Yeah, that was
It
mom
sounded
probably.
on the way in, the way it felt to me, like I think about it often, and the way in it was like she made an appointment with this guy, and I was late.
Yeah.
It was
Ushered you
kind of like,
in.
but she would just said, "I'm really proud of what you're doing. I'm really
Yes.
proud of you," you know.
Wow, that is fantastic.
And when I'm weaning, when I'm sometimes, because I'm only a human being, I'm a human being at the end of the day, and
Yeah.
sometimes I'll still make stupid decisions, And I
Absolutely.
find, am I just flogging a dead horse sometimes? Am I just like
Mhm.
breaking my butt for what reason?
I know. I know.
But something happened today on today's show that was like literally clipped around the back of the ear for my mom, but I'll explain that later.
Okay.
And we're walking back down. So this time, obviously, the archways are on my left. The looking out over the compound is on my left, and the wall with the recesses are now on my right. Okay, so we're literally walking the opposite direction.
Right, right.
And I looked back and I looked over, and all the kids were like, "Yay!" And they're all playing, and everybody's, and these people with them. And I'm looking at these three people, and two of them, I'm going, I know you. And I'm like really slowing the walk down and going, and mom's, she's really tucked into me, and she's like pulling me in tight, like, like a mom's giving you a cuddle, and she's holding me, and I'm looking and I'm going, I know you. And there's like, just give me to me. It's coming. It's coming. Mm, I know. And she just kept ushering me gently forward. And we walked down, and she looked up to me, and she said, "Yes, they are who you think they are."
Oh, man.
And I was looking at Jesus,
Yeah.
and I
I
was
just got
looking at
chills.
Mary, and they
Yeah.
were playing with the kids.
Yeah.
And that's who I was looking at. So when people ask me, "Are these people real?" And I now, in a place of stance of absolution, know, yes, they are. You
Mhm.
go, and that's why I wear that around my neck constantly.
Yeah.
And these here, I'll show you these. They look really old, right? I don't know if
Yeah.
you can see them in the light, but
Mhm.
these were my mom's. These
Wonderful.
belong to my mother.
That's wonderful.
Um, so she brought me all the way back down to the doorway of heaven. That's what I call it because I can't think of any other name. And she said, "Just want you to know that everything's going to be good. You are doing the right things." And I said, "That was good enough for me." And I then
Hmm.
came out of the meditation. Um,
Yeah,
so when you were talking about the black and white picture, and I'm
right.
going, I've experienced that, but I've also experienced
Yes,
the full color movie.
that's right. You have. Yes.
So it was
Yeah.
kind of like, wow. When people say to me, "Have you ever had an NDA?" I go, "Oh yeah," you
Yes.
know,
Yeah.
on both sides.
That is, you've given me that story before, but I think it's well worth mentioning here because we are talking about, well, there's more to reality than just looking around us every day, and
Mm,
people. I want to have people consider that there's more to them than they even know, and
yeah.
to take time out uh, to take a quiet time to start to realize a lot more than a lot more of that. I can't even speak right now, but that is a
Well,
fantastic.
it's like, when we're sitting having a chat, you and I, or and the times that I'm looking forward to getting back to be honest with you, but we're nearly there. We signed the
Oh,
contracts on our house yesterday.
oh, good for you. Good, good,
So
good.
we're it's taken a long time to get there, but we're nearly there. And I'm looking forward to getting back to what I refer to as normality because for the last 3 months, we literally have been jumping from house to house. And
Mhm.
I've not been able to settle. I've not been able to do any work. I'm not even been able to
It's
do.
gotta be so
I've been
frustrating.
doing sort of one to ones here and there, and most
Yeah,
of those were virtual one to ones. Keep putting back the seminars, but then again, I always believe things are meant to happen when they're supposed to happen. So
right, right.
we're in this house right now. It's in the middle of the country. It's and weirdly enough, second night here, an experience, and we've got experience in things like yesterday evening, I was doing something in one of the girls' room, and a mirror shot off the side of the wall, it,
What?
boom, straight across. Yeah, we have these wonderful little. I buy them for Johanna. She loves them. I've forgotten the name of the things. But they're like wee little mini Santa Clauses, but they're little. I've
Gnomes?
forgotten the name of them. They're like
Gnomes?
gnomes, but it's something like that. Anyway,
Mhm,
so I bought one for Johanna. It says "Boo" on it for Halloween because that's her thing. She's Wiccan, and
mhm,
we'd put it in the window of the kitchen. And this
mhm.
morning we went up, and it was facing back to front.
What?
Yeah,
Do you think that
and
you
you go.
bring things along with you everywhere you go, or do you think that might be
I I
part of the oh,
I
don't
think they just because they kind of like interact, and they know they may know who I am. I don't know, but they know what my abilities are.
I think so too.
I don't think they stand by the front door and go, "Oh my God, Paul Francis is coming." I
Okay.
think they go, "Oh, this guy can feel us."
Uh-huh. Yeah,
Because like if you walk into this room where I'm in right now, it's freezing cold. But if you
okay.
walk out through the door, it's boiling hot.
Right, okay.
So I
Mhm.
mean, Johanna's upstairs, and she's had to open three or four of the windows.
Because
This
it's
is
so
an
hot.
upside down house.
Oh,
The top floors are all like living rooms and kitchens, and the lower floors are all bedrooms. So
okay.
it's referred to as an upside down house. Um, but if you go onto my YouTube channel, I put it up today. But I went out. There's a beautiful balcony which overlooks all the countryside, and I was standing at the balcony the other night, and I something grabbed my peripheral vision, and I looked over, and initially my brain, because I grew up in the country, I grew up
Mhm.
and we've still got a farm in Ireland, so I'm used to country life. I'm used to how it works. And if you see somebody walking in a field with a torch, that's normal. You know,
Right.
that's there's nothing nothing that's weird about that. It's just normal. And I was looking over and I thought, oh, there must be somebody walking across the field with a torch.
Mhm.
And then I went, they must be bloody running because it was moving really, really
Really
quickly.
fast.
And then I thought, no, that's going even too quick for somebody running. They must be on a horse or something.
Hmm.
And it went right across one field, and then went right across the next field. And I went,
There.
okay, what the heck's going on here? So I quickly grabbed my phone and I started filming it.
Okay.
And then my brain kicked in, my logical brain kicked in, and I went, hang on a second, that's got to be a mile and a half to 2 miles away. So that is not somebody, I'm not visually
Yeah.
seeing somebody walking down the field with a torch. I just wouldn't be able to see that. I'd see this pinprick of a light at that distance, but not a full on big white light. And then it came right all the way back across the field, stopped in the middle of the second field, and then split into four
Okay.
and moved out. And I went, oh my God.
Do
And
you
as I
think that?
went to get Johanna, it just went like that
Well,
and stopped.
okay. So is it possible, like I feel like I observe other people having these experiences all the time, and
Yeah.
and uh do you feel like do you think there's some this is my question. Do you think that because you are able to see and feel spirit, you're also somehow extraterrestrials or anything like that is also
Okay.
very sensitive to your
All
being
right.
able to see them as well?
That's a
Um,
really good question.
go they
But
hand in hand?
they could well be. I'm not going to say no. They could well be. But let me just give you a an answer, which is kind of like right. This will make you think a little bit. Now I know in your previous life you had links to working with legalities, right? In the
Mhm.
legal field.
Yeah,
So when you look down at something that drops in your mailbox and you open up your mailbox, you look at it immediately with a legal eye.
right. I
So
do.
if bills come through or documents
Mhm.
come through, your legal brain goes click.
It's very practical. It's a
Right.
practical head.
So it's a kind of a same concept. My whole life of looking for proof of life after life, the training that I've been looking for kicks into place when I'm standing outside
Sure.
in the
Sure.
dark. So if my mind is going, look for what shouldn't be there,
Yeah.
you know.
Mhm.
And the other side of the coin is one of my favorite things is standing outside in when I'm nice and cozy and warm and just staring into the stars. I absolutely that's when I can literally go from full 900 miles an hour pace to zero, vroom, like that, and I can just go like that, and I'm looking into the stars. But because my mind is trained, or and through the 35 years of doing all of this work and doing the what I call the physical side of the work, which is the ghost hunting, the paranormal investigations,
Right.
my brain is constantly looking for what maybe shouldn't normally be there. Okay,
Sure.
so when my eye then picks up a little dot of light,
Look. Mhm.
I'll automatically look at it. Okay, and then my brain will go, "What is that? Is that a
Yep.
car? Is
I
that
know.
somebody walking with a torch?" So it's automatically going into eliminating what it might be, and you're left with what it could be.
Sure.
Okay, but when it starts just scanning right across two fields, like
Right.
full on, real fast, you're going,
And it
"Okay,
changes
that's not real."
and explodes into 4 and then goes
Yeah,
back.
but you see it coming. You can see it on the footage, and it's on my YouTube
I
channel.
will go there.
And it goes. You see it coming, and it slows right down like that. And then you see it going parting like that, and then it goes like that, and then it starts moving, and then it goes, "Choom," and then
The
it goes gone.
isn't the Cornwall area kinda well known for its, appearances of extra or, UFOs, things like that? I mean,
Yeah,
isn't it like a kind of a hot spot for all of that activity as
yeah.
well?
Oh, yeah.
So
Well, Cornwall's got ley lines. It's very well known for its ley lines. And it's well documented that ley lines tend to attract, or UFOs or UAPs are attracted to
what
ley
are ley
lines.
lines? Tell me what a ley line
Uh,
is. Is
a ley
that
line is an energy line. When if you look at a globe and you see the lines that go
oh,
vertical and horizontal,
latitude and the those
latitude and longitude. Yeah, speaking.
Okay.
That's my pilot voice coming out now.
Hmm.
But the ley lines are very, very similar, but they're energy lines that run
Okay.
in around the world in circular motion and horizontal motion,
Okay.
vertical and horizontally. And then they cross, and where they cross, the ley lines cross. There's a bigger surge of energy, and very often UAPs, UFOs are spotted around those areas. Um, we're going up to Wales shortly, Johanna and I, and we're going to a place that I didn't realize had serious amounts of UFO um,
Okay.
documented evidence through with people like military and police all saying, "Oh yeah, this happened," things of that nature. So I'm really looking forward to
I
that.
know. I mean, I watch it all with great interest now. I was such a baby when I think I started watching your shows. I don't know. I mean, really, really watching them because I was working. So it's hard. It
Yeah,
was the time your shows came on. It was a right dab in the middle of my working day, and I know
right.
everybody else who comes onto our shows share the same problem. I mean, not all of them, but many of them. So I appreciate everybody that comes in to our show. By this way, share the show, folks,
Yeah,
and
please do.
please.
Don't forget to
Um,
like the show. It's important. That's equally as important to like the
I
show.
I think you asked the question. What do you think of UFOs? What do you think of extraterrestrials? I think you really actually put pointed the finger at either Roger or me, and I said, "Well, yeah, I believe them." But I mean, I didn't really think, to the extent that they really are around us, and there's all kinds of categories
The
of.
more that I research, and I'm talking about here and now and today. I mean, so
Mhm,
much as yesterday, day before. Um, the more I'm becoming a believer that they were here way before us.
mhm,
Um, if you go on to, and then there's a plethora of different shows on YouTube
mhm,
related to UFOs,
mhm.
and they're now showing all of the pictures that were taken inside the pyramids, all of the
Oh,
pictures
okay.
that were taken with the Mayans and various
Yes,
other cultures,
on the
and
different.
every single one
Mhm.
all relates to UFOs. Even there's even pictures of UFOs in the Bible, and
Sure.
so
Or
um,
yeah, or scriptures, talk about, beings, or yes, there's scripture that talks about it, but you don't know, um, it it could be I guess it could be, thought that it meant something else, but you could also consider it being
hmm,
something that they saw as a craft in the sky, and it
yeah.
was a UFO. So, I mean, the
Well,
Bible has that.
you've you've heard of the boy king, Tutankhamun.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
right. Well, his father, who was the pharaoh as well,
Right?
and his name escapes me right now, but his
Akhenaten?
father,
Was it Akhenaten?
um, yeah, that's right. Well, he cancelled all the other gods. He cancelled them all. He got rid of all of the other gods and told all of the Egyptians that they were to only to follow the sun god, and the sun god was a disc.
Mm,
And
mhm.
if you see pictures of his sort of likenesses, his head was elongated.
Ate it, mhm. Yep,
So there's proof of that there. Um, there's far too much that
right,
points the way. We see, here's the thing, right? If the various governments of the world, be it the Americans, be it the Russians, be it the Chinese,
right,
Japanese, blah blah blah,
right.
if they were to turn around and go, right, okay, guys, listen, it's all real. We have UFOs, we have alien beings living here on the planet. They have been for years. Religion is just going to go bang like that, and that would cause as much chaos around the globe in both a metaphysical and a physical, financial way that it could throw this world into a serious, serious state of being that could then start with God knows what riots, upset, all because they just turn around and go, actually, by the way, yeah, they've been here all this time. So
Right,
then you go, so all that stuff you were feeding us. It's all
Hmm.
rubbish, just to keep
Right.
us, you know. Not that it is, because I was up there and I did see Mary and I did see Jesus. I
Right.
saw them.
And a scientist can't say, I mean, a scientist could come and say, well, I don't know what they'd say. You were under some medical
Well, here's the
problems.
thing. That's fine, because, but one of the greatest people, which is somebody I'd love for you to get on your show, by the way, in which case I'm
Okay.
going to be a sub guest that night, is
Okay.
a gentleman called Doctor Eben, Eben Alexander, and he's a very very
Okay.
approachable guy,
Okay.
and he most
I'm
likely
writing.
would come onto your show. His
Okay.
name is Doctor Eben Alexander. He was one of the top, I think, is the top 10 neurosurgeons on the planet,
Okay.
and he has written a book called Proof of Heaven.
Oh, proof of heaven.
Proof of Heaven,
I
and
got
it's
it.
one of the best books I've ever written. And now this is a guy who was an absolute total and utter scientist, and the thought of spirit, the thought of ghost, the thought of religion was like, yeah, whatever.
Hmm.
Um, and then he experienced it for himself. And now this is a guy who's in the top of his profession on the planet, not just in the UK and America, on the planet. And after a year of what he went through, decided, you know what? No, no. This happened. This is real. And he went out and found proof over a year, and put it all back together. And when he was like, I shouldn't be here for what I experienced medically. No, I shouldn't be here.
Hmm.
And his book Proof of Heaven
I
is brilliant.
thank you for that. I will read it and I'll talk to you about how to get in touch with him after I read it. I would love to have him on my show with
Well,
you
he's
as
an American guy, so you probably get him on LinkedIn. Most
well.
like
Okay.
that's the place to find him,
Okay.
and get him to come and just say, I'd like to talk to you about,
You're
Proof of Heaven
oh,
and your
right.
experiences.
Wonderful. Thank you for that. You were going to talk about a little bit. I mean, we're already 15 minutes only to go, Paul. Can you
Oh
believe it?
wow!
And thank you for everyone who have stayed with us tonight. This has been a
See,
fantastic show.
I can't see how many people's on the show. I can only
Oh,
see you, which I'm very very glad to see, but I can't see anybody else. So
well, I have a wonderful showing. I feel like I have had like 12 people here on YouTube and 5 on Facebook. So, I mean, I
okay, it's
think
good.
that's a good showing. And thank you for coming on. But please kind of share with us your seminars that are coming up. I think you wanted to talk a little bit about that
Mm,
as well.
right. Well, I've been I feel like I've been teasing people with seminars for the last six
It's
months.
driving me crazy.
Um, I will be doing these seminars, and really the new house is beautiful. It's like it's somebody went into my brain and designed it.
Oh, cool.
It's got a fleet of buildings that will be turned into studios and so on and so forth. So right, all that to one side, it just means that I'm now able to sit down in a fully professional environment and create these seminars in a really good, strong way.
Good.
Now, the first seminar, which I think everybody should attend, is Meet Your Guides.
Hmm.
Okay. Now, within that seminar, it's a really, really good seminar, because it's not only are you going to meet your guides, but I'm going to train you how to meditate properly.
Hmm.
Okay. How to do it quickly and efficiently. How you should do it on a regular daily basis. How you can do it within a minute, right up to as many hours as you like. I'm going to teach you how to go to a place called your sacred place, which no one or no thing can enter without your express permission, including your guides.
Oh.
Okay.
Hmm.
And then I'm going to teach you how to meet your guides. Okay.
Okay.
Now, the second seminar, which will be an exploration of spirit. Okay. And that will be where, again, I'll take you to a very, very specific place where you'll get to experience some amazing places that's available to you on tap like that. But I will then take you to another place where you will meet a member or members of your own family.
Wow.
Not my family, not guides, your own family.
Wow.
And then after that, I'm going to be doing. I'm actually going to be filming a teaching progression. I have a three-level class, level one, two, and three.
So
Level
how
one
long
is kind. Yep.
how long will these sessions be? I mean, what are you
Well,
have you
the session, each seminar will be 1 or 2 days.
okay. For how long in
Okay,
each day, you think?
for probably 2 to 3 hours,
Okay.
because it's not just me coming into you. Right, guys, close your eyes. Here we go. It'll be
Right.
a progression on me chatting with you, getting to figure out you,
Mm-hmm.
getting to know where you are in your mind, as in what you know already about spirit, what you think you might know, and so on and so forth. And there is some instances where I've got to turn around to people and say, forget what you know and just follow where I bring you. Okay. Now, I was taught by the right person. I know I was taught by the right person because she said to me, Paul, I will teach you everything I know, but not everything I know will sit for you.
Mm-hmm.
You
Okay.
will find some of the rest of it in other places. And I went,
Okay.
that's a good teacher. That's for
Yeah.
me. Because I
Mm-hmm.
have sat with one or two other teachers
Right.
who were like, you will not do it any other way other than this. Right. Bye. See ya. You
Mm-hmm.
know, so, but what I will do is I will give you the fundamentals. Like I said on my show earlier, I will give you the tools, and it's up to you to pick up the tools and work with them or not.
Mm-hmm.
But that'll be your choice.
Okay.
But then there'll be other seminars involved. But the teaching that I do is both physical and metaphysical. So physical, as in I will actually do physical psychic connections and blah 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 physically, and then the metaphysical will be working with spirit direct.
Sounds very what I want to do. Absolutely. And
Oh, you'll have a ball. You'll have
I'm
an
on
absolute
board.
ball.
I
And
hope.
the biggest element that I insist in my seminars, classes, and shows is humor.
Yeah. Well, that's
I
good because
insist you got to have a ball.
so I'm also reading another book. I have to show you. After I
Hmm.
had that incredible experience with Angela, I was in her shop, and this book came my my. It's called
Angel.
Relationships, and I mean, she helped me. She went through with her touch, light touch, was
Yeah.
touching each one of my chakras. And Dawn says she's gonna be doing it with me, the sessions, your sessions, but she was touching each one of my chakras,
Yeah.
and, uh, it sh her touch first it was well, she started out on my shoulders, and with that energy, my head was going on all kinds of places because I didn't know what to expect, I didn't know what to and anyway, she was helping me, and, then I heard a voice just say, "Enjoy the ride."
Yeah.
That's all it said. And I went, "Okay," and to my
Yeah.
in my head, and I was like, "Wow," and as she went to different locations of my chakra with her light
Yeah.
touch, I could tell that there was a healing going on or an opening up or an action in my body. It was, incredible, and then when she went to my feet, Uh, it was, also emotional. So I have to
Yeah.
say, it was a wonderful, profound experience, and I, am very grateful for the experience because it opened me up, yet
Oh,
again.
honey, you've only managed to walk up the first step to get towards the door. You're not even in the door yet. Wait till you get in the door.
Well, I'm
You're just
sure.
gonna
I
enjoy
I
beyond.
I can't wait. I mean, but I really appreciate her helping me there 'cause,
All right. Yeah.
I mean, I think, my intention I said, I ha she has said, "Do you have any blockage? What's your blockage?" And I said, "My own feeling of inadequacy." She says, "Okay."
Right. Okay. Yeah.
And that was really wonderful. I mean, it's baby steps. I know I'm not expecting everything
Oh,
to
well,
happen now
no, please,
tomorrow.
please, the opposite. Do expect it
Oh, really?
because
Okay.
when you're not expecting, you're already saying no to the experience. No, no, no. Expect it and demand it.
Okay.
And you know what? That's what our angels, guides, and helpers and friends on the other side of life want. They want to do it. But in the realm of angels, angels can't get involved until you actually specifically request it.
I know. I
Um,
hear that.
and you've got, oh my gosh, you have so many. And I when you're talking about it, I'm going, oh my god, I remember that. Oh my god, I remember that.
Oh yeah.
And when you experience them for the first time, I remember doing one thing with my students, and it's level two, and at one point I take you to this cliff, right, and I say, right, I'm going to speed up the whole thing, and but behind you there's a being. I don't want you to turn around just yet. Just feel it, and everybody's going, yeah, I can feel it. And this being's going to walk right up behind you, and you're going to feel them like as if they're about to cuddle you. It's okay. And everybody's going, yeah, I'm going. And then people are going, oh my god, it's a feather. Oh my god, it's a wing. And it's an angel, and the angel is right around you now. And I say, now this is now a test of trust. Look down, and you can hear people going, and what they realize is they're no longer standing on the cliff. The angel's holding them right above the cliff, and the angel just gently takes them down. Um, and when you experience that for the first time, some people cry
Mm-hmm.
because it because the release is not only the trusting of the angel, but it's releasing your fear, and your fear literally buckets out of your body, and it's amazing.
I just wanted, I forgot that I wanted to tell you about a next couple of experiences, and I wanted to ask you about, angelic experience.
Mm,
And, and and I really feel like either an my angel guide, my guardian angels either sent these people in, uh, human forms or that they were actually angels. I don't know which
hmm
were. It's not like and then I was reminded because you were saying picking you up off a cliff or something. That didn't happen. It happened after something kind of tragic could have, or not tragic, but something very not happy happened to me. One
Yeah.
was where there are two incidences. One where I slipped on my leg and fell in a slippery parking lot and broke my ankle, and I
Oh,
was writhing in pain in the parking lot. I was on my way to take some money out of the ATM machine, but
yeah.
I was writhing there because I mean, the pain was just incredible, right? I mean, God. And all of a sudden, this woman came to me and said, um, and said to me, I'm going to be running a little late today, honey. So just know that. He's giving
Is
me
that what
a
the woman said?
no.
Yeah, I could just feel him in the background. Yeah,
You're right. No, I'm just gonna I wanted just to get this before we close. So she came
sure.
up to me and she said, "Are you all right?" I said, I don't know. I was, I was like frantic. She goes, "Can I call somebody?" I said, "Yes, this is my husband's number." She says, "Okay, let me call him and let me call the ambulance for you." And I said, "Okay." And so um that happened. And I
All
said,
right.
"What's your name? What's your name?" She goes, "It doesn't matter." I said, "Well, I want to thank you." She goes, "Well, you're absolutely welcome, honey. You're okay. You're going to be okay." And so all of that took place, but I never she disappeared. She didn't come back. She just made the phone call. She made sure everything happened and was gone. The other time was when I was racing to get to work on time.
Mm.
And I was, in such a hurry. There were no parking spots left in that particular parking ramp. I went up to the top floor. Nobody else was there. I was probably driving at 25 miles an hour, a little fast. I'm not sure. I don't know. I ran right into an abutment in the parking lot, square on, and boom. And I just didn't know what to do. Up comes a car, comes a guy in the car, says, "Are you okay, ma'am?" "No, I am not okay. I am not okay." And I'm crying. He says, "Okay." He says, "What can I do?" I said, "I don't even have a stupid cell phone and I don't know what to do." And he goes, "Just wait a minute. It's okay. Let me give you mine." So I called my then husband I said, "This is what happened." And to my surprise, he wasn't toxic. He didn't say anything. He says, "That's okay, Faye. I'll get the." He was real nice to me that day. I wasn't
Yeah.
being stupid or whatever. And 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 so that guy in the car waited next to me until the uh until the wrecking crew came to pick up the car because it was completely
It's destroyed. Yeah.
destroyed. But I was okay because it was a big vehicle. That's what we drive in America, big cars. If you hit something, it's not going to hurt you. And
Yeah.
he drove away. This guy took, his thank you so much. What's your name? It doesn't matter. You're going to be okay. Your husband's on the way. So is the wrecker, and I'll wait here. And then he did. And then he was gone. So what do you think? Think that was an angel? Do you think guardian angels?
Do you know what? I wouldn't argue with you on that front. I would say that you experience, because angels will come in different forms. Not all
Mm,
angels have big, beautiful white wings on the back of them. Sometimes they're just everyday folk. That are motivated to help you. And who's to say that that's not their angel motivating them to help you? Um, and some angels actually are very, very grotesque looking, but they're still angels.
okay.
You know.
All right.
But in my feeling, my instincts are telling me you've experienced two angels. Yeah.
Thank you. Well, that's a wonderful feeling as we close out this show. And I want to really thank you, Paul Francis, for joining me
Oh,
this
hey,
evening.
absolute honor.
And thank you, folks, for joining us today. And this is a different show. We don't do reads on this show. I hope to bring just information to you that you can ponder and think about yourself. And I hope you guys all have a wonderful rest of the evening. And I hope those of you in America enjoy your Thanksgiving on Thursday. And Paul, I will see you again during one of your shows whenever the next show will be.
I cannot wait.
Okay. And
Thank you
please
very
join.
much for having me on.
Okay, folks. I'm going to have to say good night. Good night, everyone. Thank you for
Good night,
joining.
everybody.